Welcome back to CBS News 24/7. Video to our map taking you to Massachusetts, where protesters gathered at Tufts University this week as a doctoral student fights her deportation in court today. They rallied in support of the student who was detained by immigration agents last week. Now, the hearing on that detained Tufts student is expected to start in about an hour. CBS News Boston's Tiffany Chan is outside the federal court with a preview.
Tufts University is calling on ICE to release that grad student, Rumeysa Ozturk, as the case goes before a federal judge in Boston this afternoon. Now, the video has gone viral at this point, showing Ozturk being taken into ICE custody on a Somerville sidewalk by plainclothes agents. It sparked outrage and rallies in and around Tufts campus. Ozturk's lawyer says she's here on an F-1 visa and has no prior criminal history. The State Department claims Ozturk supports Hamas, pointing to an op-ed that she wrote for the school paper about Palestine. And as a result, they revoked her visa. Now, the big question is, will Ozturk be able to return to Massachusetts, or will she remain in ICE custody? That's what the federal judge is going to consider today. And at last check, Ozturk was taken to a detention center in Louisiana. Outside of Boston Federal Court, I'm Tiffany Chan. Back to you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tiffany. A lot happening with this case. Let's bring in our Justice Department correspondent, Scott MacFarlane, to break down the situation. Scott, what are we looking for today?
Well, this hearing is a singular case, but has the prospect of impacting other cases. If you look at the case of the Tufts University student, you have one of a kind, a 30-year-old doctoral student from Turkey who is fighting to stay in the country and fight this deportation, but you also have this sense that she is fighting a fight that others may benefit from or be casualties of, because the administration has been pretty unequivocal and declarative in saying they are going to target students who are on visas who they believe have been supporting Hamas. Ms. Ozturk denies that allegation. The university has spoken out on her behalf, saying nothing she did on campus gave any indication that that's a problem with Ms. Ozturk. But as this plays out at the federal courthouse in Boston, you could see other dominoes potentially falling in other cases involving other students.
Yeah, Scott, while I have you here, I want to ask you about a different hearing. Judge James Boasberg will determine whether the Trump administration violated his order temporarily blocking the deportation of alleged Venezuelan gang members under the Alien Enemies Act. So what are we going to be looking for there?
Well, you need a really good score sheet and a very full pen to keep track of all the court cases involving all the Trump executive orders. You got to be after it. That said, this one's different, and this one is singularly important. This goes back to the March 15th deportation of those Venezuelan nationals, the ones that happened on a weekend. The Trump administration alleged they were gang members. You'll recall the judge here in Washington ordered the planes turned around if necessary, because he wanted a closer look at these cases, because the administration invoked this 18th century rarely used law to expedite the deportations. They didn't turn the planes around, and in the 3 weeks since, they have yet to answer the judge's questions unambiguously about why his orders were refused or not complied with. He's going to press them today in court, and you have a bigger issue here, much bigger than just those Venezuelan nationals, whether court orders are going to be disregarded by the executive branch. If so, that is destabilizing for democracy.
I want to pivot for a moment to tariffs here, Scott. You've got some reporting about how the DOJ is getting involved and is preparing to enforce them as well. What do you know?
Everybody has a piece of this if there are going to be these prohibitive tariffs that could shake up trade in the world and the U.S. economy. If the tariffs are prohibitive, if they cause a lot of pain, legal experts say there could be a bunch of people trying to get things across the border or into the U.S. unlawfully, which could sprout this surge of what they call False Claims Act prosecutions. People will have to be prosecuted for trying to bypass the tariffs. The Department of Justice, in a statement to CBS News as the afternoon began, says they have the resources ready to handle False Claim Act cases as they surface. One of the many things to watch as this tariff battle plays out.
Another big headline we've been following today, Scott, is the firings at the NSC. And this all came after President Trump met with a woman who is a, for the better part of a word, conspiracy theorist. What can you tell us about this woman and the people that were let go?
Her name is Laura Loomer. She is a very popular, though very polarizing social media figure and right-wing figure. She has traded in conspiracy theories historically. According to the latest reporting, she met with President Trump over the past few days and encouraged the firing or the removal of several National Security Council employees. And CBS News has confirmed in the time since that meeting, multiple National Security Council figures have been removed. Our own reporting here at the CBS News Justice Department unit is that there was also a federal prosecutor on the West Coast who was removed recently by the White House directly, which is not customary, after this woman, Laura Loomer, posted on social media that he should be fired. She has the ear of the president, which outside of these firings concerns any number of people here in Washington.
You need a binder to keep track of all these, or you need a Scott MacFarlane that you can call at a moment's notice to keep track of all these cases going on, or all these events going on really across Washington. Thank you so much, Scott.